Hi guys, welcome to another video. I recently went on a little holiday to Rhodes in Greece for a few days, and I decided to do some macro photography while I was over there. So during this holiday, I didn't do too much macro photography. I did most of it at the villa I was staying in, but I did make a trip to the Valley of Butterflies, which is north of the island, not far from Rhodes town. And I don't know why they call it the Butterfly Place, because I had a quick Google and I'm pretty sure they're Jersey tiger moths. And a moth isn't really a butterfly, as far as I know. But they do look like butterflies when they're flying around. But when they land, they actually look more like a moth. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. I'm here in Rhodes in Greece and found a velvet spider right there. Get a close up of that. Ooh, my first time ever seeing a velvet spider. I think that's what they're called anyway. I've seen pictures of these on Instagram and stuff, but I've never actually seen one in real life. And I just got a nice stack of it, but I'll try and get another photo. But it's staying proper still now for some reason. Nice. And this thing's pretty big, so I don't even have to like shoot on the Raynox or whatever. This thing's like massive compared to spiders back home. There he goes. I think I got enough photos anyway for a good stack. Right, so I just found this massive ant. Well, I'm used to the UK ants, and that is massive in my opinion. Look at that. But if you live elsewhere in the world, that might just be a normal ant to you. That's what I like about just coming out to different countries, is that like the common bugs that people have look rare to me. Shooting a focus stack there, but because it's moving a bit, I might actually just try and get a single shot. I've got the Raynox on, which is a bit overkill to be honest. I might take it off in a minute. We're gonna go 150 shutter, f11, and that's probably gonna be quite dark, so I'll get 1/16 on the flash. Yeah, that seems good. Seems to be moving around a little bit. Oh. It's moving around a bit. I think I might leave it if it's moving around. I just found a jumping spider eating something. So yeah, we're gonna sweep in for a close shot. I'm gonna go for a single shot first, cause just to be safe. I don't know what he's eating, but it's like the size of his whole body. Right, I'm gonna go for the bracket now. Whatever 32 should do. Oh no, he's run off. I'm just gonna wait to see if it comes back down, but it looks like he's just climbing higher now, so. Hopefully I've got one where the eyes are in focus. Oh. He just jumped on my hand and then tried to jump on my face. Maybe if I just don't put my hand on the wall, he might be a bit more cooperative, I don't know. Okay, I think I've got one in focus there. Yes. That should be a stack there. I think I should have got a nice stack. Seems quite cooperative now. Now he's got used to me. But it's just a nightmare photographing it on the wall because I have to get in an awkward spot. I think I'll leave him alone now. Honestly, I thought when I first saw it, I thought like I'm not gonna get a photo of that. It's running around like crazy, and then yeah, I just stuck with it, and I somehow got a stack. There's a lot of effort though. Yeah, jumping spiders. I mean, it's in their name, jumping, so they don't stay still. It looks a bit like a velvet spider at first from far away because it's got the orange back, but then when you get closer I realised it's a jumping spider. So I was just saying there's like these things, you usually get spiders, and I was like, wait, there's no spiders, and then I looked up and there's a massive spider web, and I don't know what that is. It looks like some sort of orb weaver thing, it looks like something I'd get back home in the UK. Maybe it's a bit different, I don't know. But yeah, I was going to get a photo of that, but how the hell am I going to get my camera anywhere near that when it's proper nestled in that web, so. Oh, try and get this angle. I could probably get like the whole spider like a face on shot if it doesn't stop moving around. That'll do, I think. Oh, can't really get a stack shot. I just got some single shots. This jumping spider's teasing me, man. Gotta get another pic of him now. That'll do. I think I got enough of that. So as I mentioned earlier, I went to the Valley of the Butterflies, and this place is like a short 20-minute walk up a stream up to the top of a hill. So as I walked in and I was paying, the woman at the till said it's not the proper season for the butterflies, which made me think it would be like really hard to find one. But about 5 minutes into the walk, I came across this like canopy, what do you call it? Like an umbrella thing. But I think because it's yellow, they're just attracted to it. And there was like loads of it. There's probably like 100 on that umbrella. And there was also loads on the wall nearby. Now I tried to get a photo, but I ended up not getting a really good composition. So I just carried on walking up, and I didn't do too much photography on the way up to the top. But I did get a lot of good photos coming down. So I'll show you that picture of the butterfly a bit later. But for now, I'll go in chronological order. So at the end of the walk, you reach a monastery at the top of the hill. And I sat here for a bit, just for a little break. And while I was chilling there, I heard this massive buzz. And when I looked, it was 2 robber flies flying around together. And luckily they landed right by me. So I grabbed my camera quickly and went in for a shot. At first I got a few shots of it on the tree at a side angle, which I thought was alright, but I wasn't really happy with it. And I was going to call it there, but then it started flying again and landed on the floor, which gave me the perfect opportunity to get a nice clean composition. And because it's on the floor, I can also get a really clean stack because I can just rest my camera on the floor. And unlike the previous attempts, this time it was staying really still, or both of them were staying still, I should say. And just as I finished the stack, it flew away, which was perfect timing, really. I got it just in time. But yeah, I was really pleased with that shot because I've never got 2 robber flies mating in a stack like that. And it was a bit weird finding 2 robber flies mating in quite a religious spot in a monastery. So after this shot and short break, I started making my way back down to the start of the path. And while I was going down, I was having a quick scan for any bugs. And the first subject I stumbled upon was this threaded wasp. Now, I'm not sure what the exact name is for this, but I know it's some sort of threaded wasp. I was aiming to get a stack, but yeah, I ended up just going for a single shot because, yeah, it wasn't staying still at all. And I was a bit rushed getting a shot, so I didn't get a really nice composition. I cropped off parts of the subject, and it was quite big as well, so it's hard to, you know, get a clean composition. And as I walked a bit further down, I noticed this fly on the handrail. And I wasn't going to photograph the fly because it's just a common fly. But I noticed something was moving right by it, and it looked like it was part of the wood. And as I looked closer, it was actually a bug that was really camouflaged into the wood. And this thing was tiny as well. It was probably like a millimeter or 2. I'm not sure. But yeah, I remember it being tiny. It was smaller than the fly. I spent quite a while trying to ID this at home, and yeah, I couldn't really find out what it was. I think it's some sort of leafhopper, but yeah, I'm really not too sure. I've never seen this kind of bug before. But if you have any ideas what this subject is, drop a comment and let me know. So on my way up to the top of the hill, I noticed a lot of robber flies around, and I did get a couple pictures, but I didn't bother editing them because later on my way down, I actually found a lot more interesting scenes. One scene in particular was a robber fly eating a western drywood termite. I know it's a robber fly, but the thing it was eating, I thought it was some sort of earwig or something. Correct me in the comments because I'm not totally sure if that's what the actual bug is that the robber fly's eating. But either way, this was a really interesting scene. I don't really photograph robber flies eating things much. And it was quite a nightmare to stack because the bug was squirming around when it was getting eaten. The robber fly was staying perfectly still, so that was fine to stack. But I had to do a lot of retouching on the bug. And then shortly after this, I walked down to the spot where I saw a lot of those butterflies, or I should say moths. And I spent a lot more time trying to get a nice shot. And I thought it was best to photograph one that was on this wall because I didn't really want to photograph one on a piece of wood or a piece of concrete or something. I wanted it to be a more natural surface. So this mossy wall looked a lot more interesting to photograph these subjects on. And there was a lot of them just spread out across the wall, so I had a lot to pick from. And I quickly noticed that any slight sound there would fly off, so I had to be very quiet. But I found one cooperative moth, and I slowly got closer and closer until I got the shot exactly how I wanted it. And it's very hard to compose because its face was pointing upwards, and I had to put my camera like that and tilt the screen. And when it came to editing, I realized that the shot wasn't actually centered properly on the eyes of the subject. And also I shot it slightly at an angle, so it wasn't straight on as well. But it was hard to see because it was so bright out, it's hard to see the screen. And just the way I was holding my camera was really awkward. But nonetheless, I got a nice stack and a nice portrait in the end. So just before I left, I managed to get another shot of a threaded wasp, and I tried to get a better composition than the last shot, but again, it's still very hard to photograph when it's running around on the wood. Even though it's not the shot I exactly intended to get, I'm still quite happy with this shot. I didn't do too much more macro photography that day, apart from on the night I grabbed my camera because I saw this beetle in the garden and I got a quick stack of that. On the final full day of my holiday, I just did a little bit of photography around the garden in the villa. And as I was coming back to the villa from breakfast, I noticed this robber fly eating a bee on the window. So I went inside, grabbed my camera and came back out to get a quick stack. Now it would have been nicer if this scene was in a more interesting location, because I really don't like the mesh material that it was on. I think it just makes the scene look a bit unnatural and a bit distracting as well. So as I mentioned earlier, I don't really find robber flies eating things often, so I was very happy to find this sort of scene. And shortly after this, I went round the garden, and on one of the pillars where I saw a jumping spider the other day, I saw this ant going around, and I was going to walk away, but I noticed its head looked a bit weird, so I went back, and to my surprise, it was actually a ant-mimicking jumping spider. And I could tell it was an ant-mimicking jumping spider by the eyes on the subject. And just like ants and jumping spiders, it was running around like crazy. So to get a photo of this, I had to just spray away loads of shots. I couldn't really get a stack and just hope that one was in focus. But eventually I got one nice composition with the eyes in focus, looking straight at the camera. And then shortly after, I managed to get a side angle, and I could have stayed longer to get more shots of this, but I was pretty happy with it. It was a nightmare to get a photo of, so I just went on to the next subject. And the next subject being the same robber fly that was eating the bee. I went back to the same scene to see what was going on, and the robber fly was resting on the ledge and the bee was just on the floor. And the robber fly was staying really still, so I thought I'd just get a quick little stack of its eyes and try and get a really sensual portrait shot. And surprisingly, even though it's quite hot out, they were staying quite still. But one thing that was not staying still was a red dragonfly that kept on flying around the villa all holiday. I struggled to get a picture of this for the whole holiday. I tried every day, but yeah, it was just flying around like crazy. But by some miracle, on the last day, I managed to get a nice portrait shot of the dragonfly. And I believe this dragonfly is called a red-veined darter. And to photograph it, I saw it was on this little pole sticking out of a plant pot. And I started by just getting a far away shot at a side angle without the flash, which I don't typically do, but I thought I haven't even got a single shot of it this whole holiday, so I need at least one. And then I noticed it was staying quite still, and even when I accidentally scared it away, it would come back in a few seconds. So I thought I'd just try and get closer and closer slowly, and eventually I got close enough to get a nice portrait. And I also managed to get a nice focus stack as well. But unlike my usual process where I use bracketing mode on the Olympus, I couldn't stabilize myself very well, so I ended up using manual mode and then just rocking back and forth to get those frames. And I couldn't get a super deep stack, but my main goal was just to get the whole face in focus, the whole head, and I managed to do that. But yeah, those are all the photographs I got in my few days in Rhodes, Greece. It's really exciting to just go to a different country and do macro photography, because at home a lot of the subjects are familiar and it's a little boring sometimes. I photographed a lot of subjects I've never seen before, and I've got some nice scenes that I've never shot before as well. And the best thing is just the weather. Like, it's good to get away from the bad UK weather. Like, it's just been rainy, wet a lot of this summer. So yeah, it was nice to just be in the sun, in the warm every day. Yeah, but I'd love to know what's your favorite image from this holiday. Leave a comment with what image is your favorite. But with all that said and done, I'm going to end the video here. So make sure to leave a like, subscribe, share, comment, all that good stuff. And I'll see you in the next video.